quite an extended pole and could have had also the exact same thing, but that wasn't the goal. They didn't need long-term power handling on a sub that was designed to be popped for 5 seconds at a time. So, you know, you're not going to build up motor, you're not going to build heat in the thermal mass of the motor itself, you know, in a 5-second turn like that. It's not going to happen that quick. You'll melt the coil slam out of the gap before you would be able to pass that much heat into the motor. Don't pay attention to any gear grinding or trucks behind us honking, anything like that. It's actually... Pete is a rally car driver. He knows what the hell he's doing. All right. All I gotta say. All right. Next guy is Tom58C. This may sound like a stupid question, but it's something on my mind. I know there's the whole research and development thing when it comes to a product. I also know DD has patents on things, but mostly on the subwoofers, 9500 and up through the Z's. What sets the price that the customer has to pay? Why are the prices the way they are? I'm not starting this going out about being, you know, your stuff is costs too much. Just wondering what DD sets their numbers by. Very simple to answer. Purely a small level of markup over total production cost. You can have every other manufacturer out there throwing darts at that, but anybody who does not agree with that absolutely does not know the cost involved in machining steel and using a higher grade of steel, using higher grades of magnets. There's a lot of money in a motor. There's a lot of money in a cone when the cone is done in the United States, when the surround is done right here in the United States, when your coils are done right here in the United States using all United States material. I mean, the costs are high, but obviously there is a gain from it. If there was not, then we would not be doing that. We've tested all the different materials. We know the best that the other countries and other nations have to offer when it comes to raw materials and man-made materials in their area and whatnot. We've played with all that, and we've sent things over, and those countries cannot make what we're doing. We've already had that returned to us. The information is there. That's why the 500 motor, you know, comes in as a 500 motor, is done. It is literally as good as it gets. You can multiply that in size and make a big woofer, and those things are all over the place, you know. And even sub-assemblies that come into other manufacturers, and they do the final assembly, like the AudioCue product. But the materials are where the charges are. Everything that we put into that thing is expensive, and but we do it for a reason. We're not going to throw money at something that's going to bring no diminished returns. We're probably right there at the peak of reaching, you know, diminished returns. We could do a few little things, you know, if we used an aluminum cone and went through all the R&D to work on an aluminum cone, then we have a glue, you know, that would be able to take advantage of that as a thermal mass and an extension of the thermal mass. But we're already using the baddest coils that there are. You don't get a better coil than this. I can say that without flinching. It's pretty simple. It's just cost, and you don't see us riding around in crazy vehicles. You come over there, you won't see Porsches and Lamborghinis and stuff like that, you know. And we're not flying in jets when DD's paying for it. It's gas, you know what I mean, to get out there, because there's a high cost of goods itself. All the products cost a lot to build. The man hours, of course, are more expensive here as well, but the workmanship speaks for itself, I would have to say. If you... What was the other half of that question? The R&D side of it and whatnot. I mean, everybody knows the time that it takes. I'm sure you guys have seen or heard somewhere that we're working on a 22, which is a 21 and a quarter, whatever this baskets we've had since they made the dang things back in the early 80s or whatnot. He's had these baskets forever. They've been in rafters, they've been everywhere, and we wanted to start to get moving on this thing, and we're in the middle of tooling a surround, and something fell through the hoops or through the grates on that one, you know, to where, you know, we haven't received something, I guess, from that company at the time for working on that. So it's kind of like from square one again on the surround. Cone, we can always do. Those will be composite cone subwoofers, so we can control the angle of the cone and everything else. R&D there's a lot of time in R&D.
Yeah, and as far as R&D, then I have to take a look at it and say it sucks.
That's right. This is good for nothing. Oh, hold on. At first, Z91, you remember that? That was a good time when he first got a hold of Z91. It's like, oh my gosh, this thing's all over the place. And
hey, good news for people
turned out
running
to be a
T-Series.
badass. Good news.
Good news for people running T-Series.
All right.
More on that later.
So that's it. There's not a bunch of money in there for marketing at all. I'm sure you see other manufacturers, not the internet specific ones, but the big name brands, Jails and Kickers and Rockford kind of dwindling a little bit there, but big money things. Pioneer, you see their product, is roughly about the same cost when you're talking about certain levels of stuff. When you look at it, it looks like a $500 woofer or whatnot. So it's charged as a $500 woofer. And there's so much more room in there for those guys to pay for that marketing monster and all of their reps and all these levels of markup from manufacturing to the end user, where we don't have those. I mean, we've got manufacturer, dealer, end user. And in other countries, you got manufacturer, and then distributor, and then to their dealer and to their users. So their countries will have a higher retail over there, also for the fact simply that they've got duties and all these other things to deal with. But domestically, it's thank God we don't have these reps all over the place. It would jack the price of the product up. It would be ridiculous. People would be wondering. But I make an open offer. Everybody knows a JLW7, stick a big woofer of our, hell, stick a 3500 or whatnot up against the W7. The thing costs half the price.
Yeah, but see, with DD, when you're spending $300 on a woofer, you're actually buying $300 worth of woofer.
Not a huge attack. Just they have a very large marketing budget that they have to keep moving to keep this in the eyes of people. But also look at the amount that they sell. They sell.
I can already see all the comments on YouTube.
They sell 25 times or 20 times more than what we sell. I mean, I think it's a $50 million company. I don't know. They have to feed that, and so the marketing money has to be there. So the margin in their product has to be there, and that margin is not there at Digital. Let me tell you, it is not there. We work very well. We're very efficient with what money we do make off the product. And we're still able to send out the best thing that we can out the back door, and that's the goal, no matter what. Is while others have to go somewhere else and still are using up all that marketing money that they're making, they end up going with buy low, sell high kind of product, and we're not going to do that. The product has to stay pinnacle, and it's going to gain more attention. This next year, you'll see BD will be a household. Hey man, you got $1? No, dude.
It's like that McDonald's.
By the way, you guys don't have that problem out here, but we have that problem there in Oklahoma City. So at our local McDonald's, which is right next to the interstate,
oh,
where our folks live.
Rick.
Yeah, you just ask them for $1 first. Curbs it, heads it right off. So, hey, you got $1 I can borrow? They're like, huh? That shit, crazy ass money. So far, P-Dub says, so far I've watched one of your Q&A videos, and I can tell just by listening to you that you're a genius rivaling Stephen Hawking levels. Where did you go to college, and what did you major in? Also, do you use a program to design enclosures? If so, which one? Peter.
I use a calculator. One of them type of buttons on. Nah. Actually, this may come as a surprise. See, now I'm a little stupid. This may come as a surprise to some. Hopefully, it shouldn't come as a surprise to most, but no college. None whatsoever. Everything that I've developed my entire knowledge base is all of about 10, actually almost 11 years now of research, trial and error, trial with deviation, and most importantly of all, recording, keeping very, very good data on every single experiment that I run with any enclosure, and simply developing formulas and algorithms to try to reproduce the results mathematically. And that's by no means something that I've done, capped off, and now I'm capitalizing on it or anything like that. It's still a work in progress. I'm still revising and building spreadsheets. This system is by no means perfect. It's not any one piece of software that I'm using. It's a compilation of several things. Mainly, it's Excel spreadsheets that I've written in Excel with a bunch of macros, and some coding done for me in Visual Basic that allows me to do three-dimensional graphing and some of the more advanced trigonometry functions for the particle collision engine. And of course a separate external program that I use for two-dimensional decibel versus frequency